Her Rights Initiative is helping over 100 HIV-positive women who were forcefully sterilized to seek justice. Forced sterilization refers to the procedure of permanently removing a person's capacity to reproduce without their consent. HRI and the Commission of Gender Equality and other institutions have made several submissions to Parliament and is now calling the Department of Health for redress and justice for the victims. We now speak to two victims, Shirley Musotwane and Lukany Somtunzi, and they are here to share their stories. Good morning, ladies, and thank you so much for your time.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Shaba, and thank you for having us.
Sure. Now, when people hear the words forced sterilization, many struggle to grasp what that actually means, and at least we've just explained it in a few words. In your own words, can you take us back, I'll start with you, Shirley, to the day you realized that a decision about your body had been made without your informed consent?
It was after I gave birth, when you were saying about how did I realize that I was forced sterilized.
Yes, ma'am. Take us, tell us your story.
Okay. I knew that I was having twins. In short, it was by June month. It was on a Wednesday. My last month of the, what do you call it? It was April, where I was supposed to give birth. Then it happens that the doctor took me to, what do you call, sauna. So the sauna doctor confirmed that I was having twins. And the doctor said, I'm going to give birth cesarean with a Caesar because the other child was cross-breached. So the other child was facing down. So there was no way that they can be able to confirm that this child, the one that is cross-breached, is she going to be able to face down, because I was already due. So it was on a Wednesday, I still recall. Then the doctor booked me for Monday. She said she's going to make some observation and whatsoever. So I must come with everything that I was going to use for admission. But unfortunately, it happened that I got labor pains on a Sunday. So the very same Sunday that I got pains, I went to hospital, but I was trying to talk to sisters that the doctor said I'm going to get the twins cesareanly, so because the other child is not good. She's not facing well. But the sisters refused. They refused, saying there are no doctors on duty. So there is no way that they can be able to help me go to theater to give birth. Then I was forced to give birth naturally. But because of the situation that I knew that the doctor told me that this other child will come normally, so she can come normally, but the risk is on that cross-breached child. So instead, it was in the morning, around 6 o'clock. The very same time, it happens until around 4 o'clock. Then the pain swelled wild. Then they forced me to give birth naturally. The child that was facing down, she came normally.
So she came
then
out.
Then the other child came.
Okay. Okay, sorry. The child that was facing down came out normally, and then the child who was bridged?
She came hand presenting. So while she came hand presenting, I was forced to push, also threatened, being shouted by the sisters. I still recall the sisters, there were 3 of them. They were saying either you're going to die or the child is going to die, just push. So I couldn't see what was happening there because I was facing up. So they were the ones that were looking at me on about what's going on down there. So it happened that the child came hand presenting. I couldn't see.
What does hand presenting mean?
The child came with just a hand out.
Oh, okay.
As I can make an example.
Okay,
yes,
I understand.
It wasn't the head that came first. It's only the hand that came
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes, I understand. Okay. Ultimately, was the baby born healthy, the second child?
No, she wasn't, because um it happened that luckily so there was this other sister came and she asked for someone to come help.
Okay.
Then she was shouting on those sisters, why were they doing that? So I
Okay.
couldn't see what was happening, but I was tired, in pains, and
Did the baby survive?
they took me to, no, she didn't. She suffered from cerebral palsy, but I lost her. She was about 5 years.
I'm
So
sorry to hear that. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. And then
mhm.
when did you realize that you were sterilized?
I realized when you give birth with a cesarean, you going to stay at the hospital day one. They said day one, day two, day three. On my day two, I was still in the ward. I couldn't move because my leg was still numb. So the sister came. There was this other sister. She came and said, show me, wait, it's a sin, like you did right. I was like, no, I did right. I thought she was maybe congratulating me about the twins or whatsoever, but I couldn't figure it out. What was she talking about? I was like, no, what? But she was repeatedly doing that, coming to my bed and say that. Then I asked the sister, what is it that you're talking about? Then she was like, no, show me, kibua ka sterilization. Yo,
And that's how you found out that you were
I was,
sterilized and you did not know.
I did not know, but I was told that when I was going to see one of those sisters, those who traumatized me by the time I was giving birth, she was telling me, and I was sleeping, like I was sleeping up. She gave me the papers. It was many papers that were there. She was asking me to sign those papers. And she was telling me, because I think the sister knows my history from my first child that was born in 2003. She was like, Shirley, unale 80 and unale bana babangata.
Heba Tuba Mudim.
So I
Okay,
didn't,
let's pause that story
yes.
for a second. I want to come to you, Lukany. If you can please tell us your story and how and when you discovered that you were forcefully sterilized.
Good morning, Master Chaba, and good morning to the viewers at home, and thank you for having us. It was the 24th of February, 2004, when I was sterilized. I was not feeling well. I was at work. I was not feeling well, and I went to the doctor's rooms, which are behind the hospital where the procedure took place. I was observed for about an hour or two, and later on, I was told that I'm in labor and I had to be admitted to the hospital. So the whole procedure, the admission process was done. And at the time, they took my blood pressure. They informed me that I'm going to do a C-section to prevent mother-to-child transmission. And I was clued up about HIV at the time. And I had been doing my research because this is something that I had to live with for the rest of my life, unfortunately. But it was not a common topic because of the stigma that is attached to it. So when I was admitted, the nurses were filling out the forms. They put a drip on me and they advised that I am going to do a C-section. The doctor then came in and he was like, you know your status, right? And I said, yes. And he said, I will forever remember those words. I mean, they stuck with me. He said, you know your status, right? Well, you people are not allowed to have babies anymore because you're going to die and leave orphans behind.
Wow.
That took me aback because I felt this is a conversation that could have had during the time I was having my antenatal appointments with him. So he said that after delivering the baby, they would have to sterilize me and cut my tubes. At the back of my mind, I had heard, my mother was a teacher, and I had heard of her story during the Bantu education and teachers not being allowed to have babies. If you had a baby, you were either dismissed from employ or you were going to get sterilized. So at the back of my mind, I knew sterilization is not a good thing. So I requested to speak to my then husband, and the doctor told me that there is no time. I'm in labor now. I am going to go into theater, and when I'm there, they have to do the procedure. I won't come back to do the procedure. And I asked to, he refused plainly. And I asked to at least call my mother, because I knew she went through the same thing and she would give me an informed decision of whether to do the sterilization or not. But the doctor refused. He plainly refused. He was like, we don't have time. You are in labor now, you're going to theater. Otherwise, you're going to have to go to a public hospital. I don't have time to play games. You need to sign the form.
Wow.
So that is how...
I'm so sorry to hear about this. This is, I mean, the trauma that you both have experienced. Parliament has now called forced sterilization a form of torture and gender-based violence. How does it feel to hear that official recognition? And as we close this conversation, I want you to also tell me, what does justice look like for you? Because the Her Rights Initiative has been fighting for 14 years for justice for the both of you. I'll start with you, Shirley, and then close with you, Lukany.
Oh, thank you. I'll say the justice system failed us. Actually, we need answers on why did this happen to us. I think also, yeah, but it's traumatizing. It's something that it can't go. But from what I can say, I think the justice system owes us a lot. Answers, even though that we can say they need to wipe our tears, but there will be a what do we call it? The tears behind our smiles. So
thanks very much, Shirley, for that, and I do hope all the best for you. And then in closing, Lukany, and also Lukany, and very briefly, what does justice look like for you? What do you hope will happen?
The trauma is you can't quantify the amount of trauma that we've gone through. For me, redress is the most important thing in whatever form necessary, due to the 27 violations that the Department of Health put us under. And also just to review the Sterilisation Act and just stop the practice altogether. I mean, it's 2025. HIV is no longer taboo. There are mechanisms in place to allow a person to live longer. So there is no need to sterilize women and control them or control their bodies to say, you are HIV, you can't have a baby. So, yeah, justice looks like that for me and the other women who are experiencing the same thing, yes.
All 100 of them. Ladies, thank you so much for your courage and thank you for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Sure. Those were victims of forced sterilization, Shirley Mosotwane and Lukany Somtunzi. We will be inviting the Department of Health